sort of a weird segue, but like judging from the conversation up until now that we've had with you, you seem like a very humorous person, and despite it's very
he's like
yeah, for sure, no question about that. And even like I've been looking at your videos and your live performances and stuff, and it's so refreshing to see someone with a stage presence that does not only captivate the crowd but also sort of lightens the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a space in music specifically to introduce comedy or introduce like having a more humorous take on the art that you're putting out?
I do. I really. So, this is about 5-6 years ago when I started. So man, I've put out a lot of music. I put out music through Family Cheese. I put out music through Marshall and Mischief, YodaDrunk. So I have been performing live on stage for many years, ever since I was in MGIS. And that's my drive. That's what I want to do always. And I've realized that from our perspective as musicians, I love this thing. Yeah. I believe in this damn song, I'm talking about my heart and soul here.
Yeah.
But what we do essentially is actually categorized in someone else's mind, because I love to look at it from their angle. And for the last 4, 5, 6 years, I've been looking at it from you sir. You sitting there.
From the audience's perspective.
Yeah, with the beer, not knowing whose gig you've come to right now.
Right.
What are you doing here?
Yeah,
And
that's interesting,
what would you enjoy? And this person would enjoy a set with a character and a storyline, a through line through this whole thing.
Dude, thank you. Check it out. How many of you have Baba friends? Parsi people?
We're in Bombay, damn it. We're home. Somebody
both
say, yeah,
Baba.
we know Babas. There's actually a few Babas in here. Mad bunch, aren't we?
This is a rap about Babas, man.
So hard-hitting music, backed up by no performance, it doesn't do the trick.
Right.
Hard-hitting music backed up by, if you're going to perform 1, 2, 3, say you're performing 8 songs, and in the middle of the song you're just like, thank you, tune, next song.
Next song, yeah.
There's no like
There's gonna
transition
be
situation.
For me, one of the most important things is I need to invest in you as a character. If you're performing on stage, if you have the greatest music in the world, but you aren't speaking to me in that way, then just transition from one to the other,
Right.
which a lot of acts are doing now. For example, electronic acts are doing exactly that. There's no breaks, it's just 1, 2, 3, song transition into song, which is fine.
Yeah.
But even in those moments, whoever these artists are, right? A lot of the artists that I look up, take Anderson .Paak, for example. He doesn't stop a lot, but when he does have a moment to speak, you get invested in the character of that person. So I feel whether it's humor, whether it's if you're hitting really hard topics and you want to speak about that itself, there's a way to do that as
From
well.
like a
If you're
personal
speaking
angle or
about
something.
love, like Daniel Caesar does, there's a way to do it. There's a way to use silence well as well, So to get people essentially to understand their perspective and to speak from there, because if I just speak, I'm making music for people to enjoy.
Right.
Because I'm not just making music for myself,
True.
So now that I'm looking at it like that, I'm looking at all the facets that are available to me
Right.
to bring them into the performance and into the music and understand what is actually going on here.
Right. And do you think, like, for both of you, do you think it's been much harder now that live gigs aren't a possibility? Now that you can't physically be in the presence of an audience, you can't see that guy with a beer in the front row and have that sort of connection with him? Or do you think that might have changed? Like maybe now it's through a screen, through comments or something like that? Because I've seen a lot of like, for example, NH7, they did their whole Instagram live thing, which was really cool at a point because like all of us could collectively have a shared experience, even if we're, miles apart.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as an audience member, I also kind of felt that the person I'm, viewing isn't necessarily focusing on me. It's more about him and his, them and their art, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So do you think there's like a disconnect between like?
I mean, so like going off what Yohan just said before in terms of, I think it's important to curate an experience for an audience.
Right.
Because your music is not going to be enough sometimes. And I think artists need to come to terms with the fact that I'm writing music and stuff like that, but that's not the only reason they're there in the audience.
True.
And you have to be able to provide some sort of investment of character, as sort of Yohan puts it, which is really nice. Because what I realized is like, so when I play with Time Voice, which is the sort of the jazz groove, weird sort of sounding music kind of stuff, and we played at NCPA. Like, I'm a very bad frontman. There's no doubt about that. Because
your bass face isn't enough to capture
my bass face is just snarky. But like when I'm playing with Time Voice, like my perception, at least when I first started playing, was that you're here because you're here to listen to our music.
Right.
So I don't need to interact with you as a audience and tell you like what the story behind it is. Like, you're here for the music, and I'll just give that to you.
Okay.
And then when we play with Heatsink and Pratyay, who's the frontman for Heatsink, he's so charismatic when he's on stage. He tells jokes. He's got constant weird things that he keeps selling off people of the band to the audience for shit like that. So he does a lot of that, and you can see how much more invested then the audience becomes in your music.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't make that sort of distinction before. It's that if I invest in you as a person, you will be invested in my music as well. It's not it's not an act.
Yeah.
Which is what I
initially
used to think. I used to be like, man, why do you need to say jokes? No, just play the music.
Play your stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized that works only for like the Snarky Puppies and Chris Potters and John Mayers. Maybe.
Yeah.
They can afford to do that,
even they do subliminal things.
Yeah.
So I learn a lot from photography. I learn a lot from creating music videos. And what I really learned is I know about the music, and I know about it well. Like, for example, if I'm making a track for myself, I know that, okay, this is the verse, the pre-chorus, chorus, and the way it flows, whatever, transitions, beautiful. Yeah. Lovely. Thumbs up. Now, if this is a couch, you're going to sit here, you're going to wear this, this, and this. Me 7 years ago would be like, there is no way I'm wearing that. Okay, this is ridiculous. Why would I have those props? And then I realized, wait a second, I don't know anything about this world.
Right.
Okay. So I started trusting, let's say, the artist, the photographer, and being like, cool.
I'll put my hand. I'm in good hands.
Yeah, and I learned that by being in very sticky situations.
Okay.
Like for a GQ shoot, man, there was a bunch of garments. This guy's like,
I saw that. It was like proper like retro punk, sort of steampunk aesthetic.
And no one else. So there was these really big musicians. There was Duelist Inquiry, there was Zayden, there was Ankur Tiwari. All those guys were there. And when they were selecting the outfits, none of them were instantly gravitating towards that. And the photographer, who was kick ass, that's the reason I could trust him, took me aside, was like, listen, bro, you need to try this out. This is one of the best, outfits that we do have. I know you're not gravitating towards it as well, but you need to trust me. And I was like, okay, and I went through the process. And that day itself, I didn't like the image.
Okay.
But then it grew, and when I actually did put it out, that different light that something puts you in is really strange, because then the rest of the world is like, this is kick-ass.
Yeah.
And they don't know why. And I'm like, wait, now I understand.
Yeah.
So when Snarky Puppy does it, they do it in a very subtle way.
Yeah.
They're all wearing white.
Yeah.
And it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to get you into the world. Daniel Caesar's lighting agarbatti on stage and putting it on the keys. Yeah, I'm blissed out, bro. Yeah, let's talk about love,
For sure.
So it's whatever it takes to get you into that world.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to your question, it is difficult to do that over a live stream. And I'll tell you where the difficulty is. Not everyone has all their gear. I don't have my gear. I can't perform a YodaDrunk set.
Just borrow a mic from Raag.
Even if I did borrow a mic, a mixer, and everything else, there's no way I can perform that set. It just requires too much.
Yeah.
So the people who are putting stuff out right now, they know exactly what they're putting out. They're putting out what can be done right now.
That's for sure.
And unfortunately, perhaps the audience don't know that.
Right.
So the musician is going, and I was doing this. I'm going, man, I only have an acoustic guitar. I'm going to make music. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to put it out.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. But as an audience member, they're just like, this is what he does.
Okay.
So it's difficult in that way.
I know what you mean.
It's difficult in that way because you're going, despite everything, I will, and they're going,
I'll try to give you something.
This person does this.
Right.
So that gap is the slightly irritating thing for me.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's life. I mean, the truth is, whether you're performing live or you're doing an Instagram live, man, you're not gonna be able to please everyone
That's
all
not
of the
true.
time, and it's fine. Like, you know,
You don't
and
need
about
that.
the jazz band, you know, a jazz group that does this thing that invites people into their world is Postmodern Jukebox.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
They do it
absolutely.
with outfits.
Yeah.
They have an aesthetic that they've
Yeah.
really meticulously
Yes.
sort of like.
Yeah, and that
created.
aesthetic is something I'm starting to see the importance
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been for me, because I started playing music with the family cheese. We had our aesthetic.
Right.
So it's like long hair
Yeah.
Telugu guy, across white boy with curly hair, and funny guy with I used to have this strange braid. Okay,
Yeah,
who will drum and sing. But
That's it, yeah.
That's
what
the
more? We were like, what more do you want? You know?
Right.
So
But I think that was unique for that time though.
it
right?
is unique.
Yeah,
Even
it
today,
works.
if
I mean, it's identifiable, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and you can see that and be like, oh, that's a family. cheese.
That's-
that's
family cheese,
look at
right.
those
Yeah.
that weird, you know, those guys, rat-looking guy.
Are we 20 minutes? I finished half of your Red Bull.
Oh man, it's so good.
Should I, you want another one?
Where is it?
I kept on having it because like I was like, fuck.
Pumped, bro.
Yeah.
Red Bull. Dude, I just bought a new car. You know he's gonna go to Harshid. You speak to Harshid first.
Bhai,
Yo, Harshid.
you tell him like
You tell him
that the car is in bad condition and
it
stuff
cannot
like
be
that.
sold.
Dude, you,
Yeah.
5 lakhs you'd be lucky to get it.
and then you tell him that you might have won by
What is this dealership hustling you all are doing? Oh man.
Okay, so like going back to this thing. You know the instant live performance. Also, there's a dichotomy from the performer standpoint. Also, I think. Like first of all, I think the Insta Live is facilitated also the kind of genre of music you play. Like the singer-songwriters are going to have a much easier time
Then like a
producing
band
content
setup.
than a band setup or then whatever any other sort of electronic was going to be so much more difficult
Yeah.
to do that than if you were just a singer-songwriter.
or a DJ, for example.
Or a DJ, yeah.
DJs just have to put a camera and it's
That's it,
and it's
yeah.
go time.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's genre-specific platforms and Instagram Live and stuff like that is designed for that. I think in one capacity. The other problem is that artists are getting unnerved to a certain degree about the sheer volume of people doing live sessions because some of them are debating. Okay, I've got this time off. Should I take it for myself? Should I be creative and write music? Oh, but look, all 3 of my friends have Insta Live
putting
every day.
out, yes.
Yeah. So does that mean I have to do that? Is it because they feel like it is going to be a slight. Social media is a competition.
That's a
Yeah.
very good point
So
to make.
it really is.
Everyone right now is doing something
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Good thing, bad thing, who am I to tell?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Right,
everyone's
right.
doing it, and I know for a fact that some people are getting pressured into it.
Yeah.
Dude, this is
And
a
then
very
half-assing
strange
the-
time, bro. This is a very strange time. Not only for musicians, I'm talking for anyone who does anything
At all,
creative
period.
in that sense. Because if you go online,
Yeah,
right,
man.
and if you're listening to music, everyone's putting out music. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it is really bad. You know, then you have the influencers, and then you have the visual artists. Across the board, people are so afraid of losing likes
Yeah.
or follows.
Visibility.
I urge people to stop giving a shit about this
Yeah.
right now. That's just an inevitable process. They're gonna go, they're gonna come back. I'll tell you something really interesting. Every time you do something hip, they're all back.
Yeah.
Right.
And every time you do something that they go like,
That
that's a
was-
little,
yeah, that was okay,
they all
yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
that's just, it's meaningless.
For
That's
sure.
a good face,
So Yohan, you've obviously made that shift from being in a band setup to now doing your own solo electronic act.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Raag before you came that it's so cool because I personally haven't seen a lot of electronic artists who
Yes.
also do like live drums or have a live element as a part of their setup. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously some DJs and artists they do have a, like you said, they curate an image in their live performances,
Yes.
but not in the way that I've seen you do.
Right.
Has that been hard? Has that been hard shifting from working with other people and collaborating with a live band setup to now I'm gonna do my own thing and it'll still be of a certain live quality that I want it to be?
It has been difficult. It has been difficult. See, I'm very gifted in terms of I love the people that I have around in my life. They have always, in every moment, whether it be with any project, session drummer as well, like in any situation, the people who I've had around me have either helped, limited, or enabled me into doing whatever I'm doing at the best level possible.
Right.
So when it came to putting YodaDrunk together, I had two people help me out. Sid Shidodkar and Nirmit Shah.
Okay.
And both of them are themselves in live electronica acts that are
Ape Echoes for the win.
beastly. Yeah. Ape Echoes. So Sid Shidodkar for me personally, dude, Paraphonics is an act that they have, which is a live electronic act with Sahil Shah playing drums.
Yeah, right.
That it's when I saw that I was like, wait a second, I need to speak to this guy about putting this act up.
Yeah.
You know? And Nirmit, when I heard Ape Echoes again and Nothing Anonymous, which is when I was like, wait a second. So it took a bit of observing for me. It took a bit of realizing for me that, wait, I've been writing stuff like this forever. And what would it be like? And understand, I'm coming from a place where I am not a producer.
Right.
I am not a producer. I have never been a producer. I compose, I write music. You know this. Raag knows this all too well. Yeah. To the point where I know it to a healthy degree, where I'm like, I can't take this call. I need to speak to two more people about this.
Right.
What is this level at? Should this be? So it was difficult, but I was surrounded by people who would be like, it's good, it's also shit. So you need to go and
You need people like that.
Reevaluate your...
you need people like that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one of the biggest challenges was, yes, I wanted to play drums over the set. But the sound of a dry drum kit doesn't sit
Doesn't sit with the electronic.
So
sort of
how
sound.
to get the triggers and put it through the SPDSX, get this track sounds. It sounds very simple, but going through that process...
That sounds simple.
It's when you're an audience member, you're like, of course they sound...
Okay.
That's
From
like,
an audience perspective,
but
that sounds normal.
but it's so tiring to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through that process. It's difficult, man.
for sure.
And actually, this project for me has been very interesting because it's something that I've sharpened what I've been doing and it's come very close to my real personality.
Oh, yeah?
Like, yeah, from I've been very lucky, dude. I've been able to write with Family Cheese, like write, compose music. Marshall and the Mischief, write, compose. And then there's this. This one's very close to
Who you think you are.
who I think I am and the level that I want to perform it at.
So what's the backstory behind Yoda Trunk? Like the name itself?
The name itself. Okay, so...
There's going to be a lot of Star Wars questions coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
I guarantee you that.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I know none of them. I just called it. No, please don't ask me Star Wars questions. Okay, so a very close friend of mine from Ahmedabad only. His name is Tinku. His real name is Anand Devani. Okay.
How did you get Tinku from Anand?
Correct. His name is Tinku because he's very, very small.
Okay.
So in school he was very small.
So you'd be Tinku basically.
Oh,
And
okay. I see.
in Gujarati, he would be Tinku. Don't get me started. Okay. He would be like, hey Yoda, this. Hey Yoda. In that Gujarati, hey Yoda, this. Hey Yoda, that. I'd be like, shit, this guy just calls me that all the time. And I remember I'm making my first email ID and nothing was available.
The first email IDs are the worst.
So then I typed in YodaDrunk at hotmail.com.
Ooh, nice.
And they were
You're
like,
a Hotmail person.
it's been selected.
Yeah.
You are Yoda. Welcome, YodaDrunk. I've always done weird names. What is the family cheese? What is that? It's a bizarre one.
I loved it.
that shit.
I mean, it was
You
so
know?
recognizable. I remember, like
Yeah,
But it's weird enough to be like,
recognizable.
to people hear that be like, okay, I need to know about the family.
it makes sense with the personalities involved.
Yeah.
If you just hear it, it's like, kaun sa restaurant pe bula raha hai?
Bro, in one of your YouTube videos, there's only one comment on it.
Yeah.
And it just says Parmesan.
Parmesan.
That's it. That's the only comment on the whole video. I saw that, I'm like...
I remember like there was this one show that we played together called Into the Void.
Dude, where was that?
That was in Kutch.
In Kutch, in the
Kutch.
desert. Oh
And
man.
I think Family Cheese is going up, and Yohan comes on. We are the Family Cheese, and we like
love
our
that
breakfast.
breakfast.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's right. I
That was
remember
that was the tagline.
tagline,
you know?
yeah.
What's your favorite breakfast food? Like,
Dude.
ideal spread.
Ideal spread, no. Just everyday kind of love.
Yeah.
I love fried eggs.
Fried eggs.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fried eggs with like onion, garlic, cut up bacon inside.
Oh.
And toast and jam. That's sweet with that egg and that bacon. Good lord.
Thank you so much for coming on this episode. I want to end with a couple fun rapid fire questions.
What about the Star Wars questions?
Yeah, that one. Only.
Okay.
Oh man, put the Star Wars questions away. What is this?
Have you seen any of the Star Wars?
I might have.
I might have.
No, I haven't. I watched one movie and I couldn't get through it.
Do you know what you know what a Jedi Master is, right?
Now I do. Yeah, I know what a Jedi Master is.
So what do you think is the most annoying thing about being a Jedi Master?
The hair.
The hair. I don't
That's a
think
good
of
one,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
not all of them have like weird hair. One of them had those braids that you were talking about.
Those are kind of cool.
Padawans have that.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can distinguish like the level of a Jedi
Based
based
on
on the
the-
hair.
But I think the coolest thing is I like their outfits. Man,
The robes
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
pretty
I'd
dark.
like to perform a Yoda Drunk set in
Oh,
one of those
do it.
outfits, dude. Yeah,
and
man.
wear like a Yoda. Like,
yeah. Okay,
mask
maybe
as
not the Yoda head, but the outfit for that is like we'd complete it with a Yoda.
Get a lightsaber.
and have a beard on the side, so it would make sense. You know?
Another question I had was, gun to your head, okay? You're forced to rap an entire song, beginning to end with no mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're shot.
Yeah.
What song would that be?
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah.
You can rap the whole thing,
The
no
whole-
mistakes.
the whole thing.
You know what Raag said?
What?
What's yours? What's your answer?
The first answer, the second answer.
The second answer.
My first answer was lose yourself because like
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
but there are some verses where I
Mom
think I would,
spaghetti,
fuck up.
yeah.
It's difficult, yeah.
I would definitely fuck up over there. But without a doubt, the alphabet. A B C D E
Oh
F
my
G
God.
H I J K L M N O P.
Oh my god.
I mean, I would nail it 10 out of 10.
If you messed up,
I
then
would
you
need it
deserve to be
27
shot.
or 26
Then you
times.
deserve to be
Yeah,
shot, yeah.
yeah.
What are some of your like hip hop influences? Like,
Wait, what's yours? What
What's
would
mine?
be a rap that you would?
I'll tell you, Low by Flow Rider. That's like a solid 2007 high school, middle school
That's
jam.
also true. What's the song Tequila?
Tequila.
Yeah, it's like
Tequila.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila. That's it. It just keeps on saying Tequila.
Yeah.
That would be an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, do you like you said Anderson .Paak for sure? But
Yeah,
like,
man, I love hip hop, but I love the underground jazz influenced hip hop a lot. Not that I'm putting out material like that. I'm putting out material that's kind of a little more in the middle.
right.
Robert Glasper,
Oh, man.
Chris Dave,
Oh wow.
that
Daddy,
Mono Neon,
yeah,
those
seriously.
jams are
Right,
something
right.
that I love those, man.
Uh-huh.
And then of course there's like Mac Miller. It's not really hip hop even. Some of the artists who I am really digging right now are Daniel Caesar, Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
Man, I love Frank Ocean.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
Dude,
sure.
so these guys, even some parts of Chance the Rapper are just they
Yeah,
really get me.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
what I'm trying to do is like bring elements again. Oh, this has just been consistent through my entire musical career. Bring elements from different sides of hip hop and rap and certain pop music and put them together and make them a blend that can only be put out through someone like my writing style.
Right.
You know?
And that's been pretty successful, right? So far, like,
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
It has because it's a particular set of skills, and with the right message, the entire gig feels like in synchrony one message is coming out.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
which
a feeling
I
it's-
love. Yeah.
Awesome, man. It's been a pleasure to have both of you here. It's your house, obviously, but it's really awesome talking to you. Can you make a shout out for Compass Box just to get people hyped up about the kind of work that we're doing? And
He's got the mask and
I
everything.
got the mask and everything.
we should all put our masks on.
We have merch, guys.
Merch coming up.
Yes.
New
Alright.
stores open now.
All right, ready.
This
Okay.
camera.
This camera. He said both. Okay.
This one primarily.
Look at this. This is my favorite chaddi. I'm kidding. It's not. I want to give a huge
That's the
shout
first thing
out.
he said also, I remember. Like, why is this chaddi material? Like,
Looks
that's
beautiful.
comfortable.
ये किसका चड्डी? Okay. A huge shout out to
Counter box.
Close enough.
A huge shout out to Compass Box Studio for being freaking epic. We've just done a sick recording over there. We've already put Tilt out. Now we're gonna put I Break out, which is my new track. It's a beautiful studio run by beautiful people. You guys are also beautiful. Peace out.
Peace out.
A-Town.
Hey, tap.
Yeah.